Hey, all right, quick update. We talked about it yesterday. I gave you last night an update. I was talking about how I expected us to cool off a bit. And earlier today, it actually looked like really bullish. It was just going up all day. But now you can see on the 4 hour, we're finally coming back down a bit. Remember, we had this trend line that I drew when I was explaining how we had some bearish divergence. So the 4 hour model, it looks perfect for this correction. We have this trend line resistance right here. It's generating some really nice bearish divergence, which you can see right here on the RSI, right? So everything about it there with the RSI looks good. The Stoke hasn't really gotten to that high overbought range, but it still looks good for a correction, right? We're turning down. We're at higher levels. Plus, we have confluence with the other things. Now, targets, short term, got confluence of all the EMAs. Each of my dynamic supports are right there, all three EMAs. Dumping down to that level overnight into tomorrow could be exactly how it plays out. Essentially, I'm expecting a short, 24, 36 hour maybe correction, anywhere from like 12 to 36 hours, really. It's exactly what I was expecting 2 nights ago, and it didn't happen yesterday. Yesterday, we pushed up higher, went hyper bullish on the short term, and now I'm thinking it's probably the better timing for that dip. But overall, again, I'm staying out right now on the swings and short term trades until we get that dip. And once it begins, I might enter into a short. I just want to get some confirmation. Like on Bitcoin, we have 47,150 horizontal support right there. Maybe once you dip below that, that could be a good time to get into like a short-term short. On Ethereum, same thing. The target could be the EMAs and the top of the cloud. Really, really good spot for a dip. If we were to dip down here, that would be an incredible spot for that incredible target. Now, one of the things I want you to remember is I drew out a hypothetical Elliott wave count, right? And I came up with a general idea on Ethereum, what we could expect. Now, I would alter that a bit. Since we pushed higher above the top of the cloud, now we have the EMAs and the top of the cloud as a really, really strong support. So if we get this correction from right here, wave one will end up being much larger. What does that mean for us? Well, based on my model, if you remember, the 1618 extension was the wave three target. That gets considerably higher. So we're going to have a much, much higher target when I factor in the additional wave one range, right? So right now, it was originally 28.5% was the potential target for that. Take a look at the Fib extension. Why isn't the Fibonacci extension clickable here? Oh, there we go. To unlock that, let me show you. So what we would do is wave one target would be a little bit higher. So then when wave two retraces, if wave two retraces to the top of the cloud where the EMAs are, that would mean the 1618 extension could potentially, I'm not saying it's a sure thing, but it could potentially be a setup for a 40% run on wave three. I'm not worried about 4 or 5 just yet. Just hypothetical. Once we do get this short-term correction that I've been talking about for a couple days now, since I brought it up, we've been continuing to move a little upward, but mostly overall sideways. And once we do get this short-term cool-off period, we just need like a day. Once we get a day to cool off a bit and reset, we'll be golden. You can see, again, we're overbought on the Stoke on the daily model. It's the perfect time. We could get a short-term dip in like a day, day and a half, and then continue upward. But keep in mind, as I talked about yesterday, if we do get a full cycle, we might end up getting a bigger correction. And this is why I'm thinking of skipping, of doing a short as well, right? If it was only the 4 hour, the shorter term model with the 12 to 24 or even like 16 to 36 hour correction, if that's all it was, I wouldn't enter into a short. I would just get out. But not only did I get out last night, but I'm considering also entering into a short because it's not just a short term. We also have a swing with the daily. We could see up to a week long correction. It's very, very possible. So initially, the short term correction, we could end up coming back down to the top of the cloud where the EMAs are. But depending on how things go, we could come even lower. If you look at the daily model, that would come to where the top of the cloud is on the daily, but we could always break down into the cloud and go to the bottom of the cloud, closer to 3K. There are a lot of ways this can play out, or we might have the same ultimate target, right? We might end up getting a dip. So we get like an initial dip and then move sideways for a bit, bounce, but we might end up not going any lower than this hypothetical wave 2 target, right? So we might end up bottoming at 3150 on Ethereum and not going any lower. I'm not exactly sure yet, but I do know since the daily model is also giving us that likely high probability of the bearish reversal, which is going to be a multi-day correction, it's worth getting into a short as opposed to just a short-term trade where it probably wouldn't be worth it, especially given how the models have been lately where it's really hard to do the short-term trades with high precision. It's much easier to work with the daily chart and upward from there. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm still expecting this correction. We're moving sideways so far today, but I really think we're getting this short-term dip. If you're getting into anything long-term holds where you don't care about getting the perfect, most flawless entry, you could start accumulating now. It's not a huge deal. Me personally, I'm just going to wait a little bit. If we push up higher, I'm always willing to pay a little bit more if I have to, but I really think we're getting this dip. It's been a couple days I've been expecting it. Now we're at a point where the daily model gives us confluence with the lower time frames. Everything's matching up. We have that bearish divergence. It's really a perfect time. Plus, if you look at Ethereum, I already showed you on Bitcoin, we also have bearish divergence on Ethereum too, because we're still trending upward a little bit on, oh wait, where's RSI? Yeah, we're trending upward on the price action, and we're starting to see the downtrend on the RSI. So there's upswing still on the price action, and now you're seeing, whoops, now we're starting to come back down in RSI, right? So much like BTC, we're seeing the same thing on Ethereum, bearish divergence. I haven't looked at the daily for, yeah, we don't really see that on the daily, but we definitely see that shorter term for the 4-hour chart. Anyway, if you have any questions, let me know, but that's what I'm thinking. The way this will kind of work out as well, just since I have this on the screen, one of the ways we could see this play out, we could end up with this creating a head and shoulders, right? Or an inverted head and shoulders, because I'm expecting a correction right here. And keep in mind, the way we had this prior corrective wave, we had this ABC. So when you get that, it ends up creating sort of, that's A right here, B in the middle, and then the C wave down, right? So that ABC is the left shoulder and the neckline, right? So there's your head. And then the other side is the 1, 2, 3 initial breakout for the next motive wave, that impulse, right? So the correction into the next impulse wave creates an inverted head and shoulders. And that's why a lot of the time when you see a bullish reversal, it perfectly coincides with an inverted head and shoulders formation. Not because the inverted head and shoulders is necessarily indicative of a bullish reversal where the head and shoulders means you'll go bullish. But if you're starting a bullish reversal, naturally that's usually going to create an inverted head and shoulders because of how it works. When you have a correction with an ABC going into a bottom before going back up into a 1, 2, 3, the beginning of the next impulse wave, it's naturally going to create that same formation, down, and then up, down, up, same thing. So hopefully that is clear enough. You guys understand what I'm saying. I'll touch base with you guys in a little bit. Let's see how things move the rest of the night. But there's an hour left on this candle. The next candle could be the right time. I think what I'll probably do is just set a little alert here. If I drop down to the hourly, you can see there's a little bit of a channel. So let me draw that out. We have the short-term support right here, and the resistance right here. So if we can stay within this wedge, we won't do anything up or down. But if we break down below the bottom of this wedge, we're probably getting close to, if not already beginning, that corrective move. So I'll probably, let me do that now. I'm going to set notification right here. I'm going to set an alert at like 3370. So I'll get an email, text, and app pop up if we break that 3370 level. And if we get any lower than that, that means we're getting below this wedge formation. The trend line support's failing. And it's probably a good point to enter into a short. So with my notification in place, if I do get that alert, I'll let you guys know and I'll figure out how to play it. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to enter a short right there. The only question is how big to go. I think I'm going to enter into a smaller one as like a short-term thing. And then once we get a confirmation on that daily reversal, once that daily Stochastic oscillator starts to turn down and gets that crossover, Once we really have confirmation, I'm going to go in big on a short for the midterm swing. That's how I'm going to play it. And same thing. I've been waiting a couple days to get into the alts. I've been really anxious to do it. I just haven't had an opportunity to really get in yet. I'm hoping this is my chance, not only to potentially short, but maybe I'll just short the majors, but that'll give me the perfect bottom to get into that next leg up, because I think the next leg up is going to be massively bullish across the market. All right, talk to you guys soon.